Hello everybody and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer, and I have been looking forward to doing this video. It's finally upon us, 22-23 championship predictions video. Guys, I'm going to go through it in the typical tier list. If you're watching on your telly, you can probably see the categories quickly. But if you may be watching on your phone, let me just quickly run through them. We've got automatic promotion, we've got the top 6, we've got 7th to 11th, 12th to 16th, 17th to 21st, and then, of course, the 3 spots for relegation. I'm going to obviously go through it in a typical tier list manner. And if you watch my one that I did last season, this will interchange a little bit. I want it to be as organic as possible. So I'm going to talk through the teams and my thought process, literally as organically as possible. I've not got a pre-arranged list to go through. So yeah, watch along, enjoy the ride. And before I start, please do hit that like button and please do subscribe to the channel as well. And if you're a championship fan, I will be bringing weekly championship predictions, starting with obviously next week, this coming Wednesday. Predictions for week 1 will be out on Wednesday around 6 p.m. So check those out as well. And let's waste no time. Let's jump into this. And we start off with Norwich City. This one for me, probably automatic promotion. I'm going to put them in for now. Is it just going to be a case of Fulham, the typical Fulham and Norwich thing to do? They're just going to alternate between the 2 leagues progressively and keep on doing that and keep on doing that until one of them eventually breaks it. It'd be interesting, but for now, I'm going to put them in automatic promotion. We now move on to Stoke City. We've had a couple of players obviously leave, a couple of players coming in. Do I ultimately see something massively changing for Stoke this season, like a promotion charge? I've got to be honest, probably not. I'm going to put them somewhere in that 12th to 16th position for now. We now move on to Blackburn Rovers. A lot of change for Blackburn Rovers and a disappointing second half to the season. Obviously, a new manager coming in. Will that be a bonus? I'm not too sure. Obviously, they've lost Lenihan, they've lost Rothwell, 2 big players that I imagine they would have wanted to keep. I'm going to put them in the 7th to 11th category at the moment. I don't really see them, though, being a team that does get into that top 6 this season. We come on to Cardiff. They've made a few improvements, and I think they'll be looking for a better season than they achieved last season. I don't think it'll be that dramatically better, though. I think they've made a couple of decent signings, and I'm interested to see what Cardiff do, but I don't think they're going to be a surprise package. I'm going to put them in this category, and for now, I'm going to tidy this up a bit later on, but I'll put them above Stoke. We now move on to Coventry City, and obviously Coventry City have made 2 good additions, Casey Palmer, Callum Doyle. They weren't too far away from the playoffs, and so far they've kept a couple of players which I thought the Premier League might have looked at, might have been hunting for. So far they've kept those players. I could see a positive season for Coventry. Top 6? For now, they're going in the top 6. I could see this being a really good season for Coventry. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes for them. Hull City next. Now, Hull is an interesting one because obviously they have lost young prospect and really good player for them, actually, Lewis Potter. But because of that money, they've made a few decent signings. So you don't know whether, okay, they've lost one of their big young talents, but have they overall? Well, they have strengthened the squad because they've been able to use that money. It's going to be an interesting one, this. I don't think they're going to go down. I'm still going to keep them around 17th to 21st for the time being. We come on to Burnley. Now, Burnley are an interesting team because they've lost a hell of a lot of players. Obviously, Sean Dyche went before they actually went into got relegated from the Premier League. They've lost Ben Mee, Nathan Collins, Tarkowski. They've lost a big chunk of that defence. Vincent Kompany coming in. That's going to be interesting to see what he does in what I'd probably say is his first big test, isn't it? It's a big job in English football. And I mean, usually the teams that go down are in and around going up as well. I just don't see Burnley getting promotion, though. I'm going to put them in 7th to 11th. I just think there's maybe been a bit too many changes. You look at the likes of Norwich, you look at the likes of Watford. Their players haven't really been headhunted as much as obviously Burnley. So I'm not too sure. Moving on to QPR now. QPR did have obviously a very disappointing end to the season last season. A bit about like Blackburn, actually. But obviously Blackburn started off in a much better position. But QPR's form was really abysmal towards the end of the season. I mean, does that mean that they've got no hope this season? Of course it doesn't, but I'd be interested to see if that bad form does continue. I can't see them being in the playoffs, I've got to be honest. For now, I'm going to put them in this 12th to 16th position spot. No, you're not going up there. 12th to 16th, I think they'll be somewhere around that area. Sheffield United and Sheffield United fans will be looking for a really positive season this season. I think for me, they're a safe bet for the playoffs for me, Sheffield United. I think obviously they'll maybe want to do one better than last season, maybe even get to in the playoffs again, get to the playoff final this time and win the playoff final and go up. I think Sheffield United have a lot to build on. They have had quite a few injuries at the back end of last season. A few of those players will be coming back. Obviously, they have lost Morgan Gibbs-White, who was a really impressive player for them, a couple of other lone players, but I do expect Sheffield United to still be in and around that playoff picture. We come on to Millwall now, and I always find Millwall an interesting one because I always feel that they do better than what pundits predict, what the betting predicts as well. Obviously, they were very, very close to the playoff picture last season. And I don't really want to write them off again this season. I think they're going to have a really positive season. A couple of signings that have obviously come in, a Fabian Honeyman. They've lost a couple of players as well. I don't know whether it's the Den. I don't know whether because of the Den and it's such an intimidating place for away teams to go. Maybe they take advantage of that. And they often do better than what you feel Millwall should do. I think they're in for another promising season, maybe in the 7th to 11th category for now. I do think, yeah, I'm going to put them in 7th to 11th. Watford at the moment, they've really not lost anyone, and you've got to take it on the basis of what's happened at the moment. No really big losses. They've made some decent signings to come in as well to strengthen the team. Watford weren't that terrible in the Premier League. Obviously, it ultimately ended in relegation. And yes, it wasn't, it wasn't the last game of the season or anything like that. But I don't think Watford were terrible, to be honest, last season. And I do expect them get automatic promotion. I think if I'm going to take one of the teams out later on, it'll be Norwich, not Watford. I think Watford will secure top spot, go up as champions. Of course, Emmanuel Dennis is possibly linked with a move away. If that happens, maybe there's a little bit of cause for concern, but especially with Dennis, they've kept Zar as well. They should go up, shouldn't they? Watford should go up. We now come on to Bristol City, and the one thing that I noted with Bristol City last season was the fact that they scored a lot of goals, to be honest to them. But the one problem they had, Bristol City, was the goals conceded. I think were they the worst, or at least one of the worst for goals conceded last season. Maybe not the worst, but they've improved their defence. They've brought in a couple of defenders, and I think because of that, Bristol City might be hoping for a bit better season this season, maybe a bit more of a push. Could they be a surprise package? I think I am going to play it safe. I think I'm going to put them in the 12th to 16th position, but maybe there could be a bit of a surprise package because they have got goals. If they can really sharpen up that defence, they could be one to watch. But for now, I'm going to put them in that 12th to 16th place position. We now move on to West Bromwich Albion. And West Bromwich Albion fans, obviously, it was very doom and gloom for you guys at the end of last season. Me being a Wolves fan, I kind of enjoyed it. But in all honesty, for Albion, it looks positive. I've got to be honest, it does look positive if you're a West Brom fan this season. Obviously, Steve Bruce really spoke about how he needed players that, were there for the club, wanted to play for the club. And I feel he's got a few signings that will really basically bring that kind of attitude. And I think they'll have a better season. I think the playoffs, I think they will get into the playoffs this season. I think they'll be pushing for that. And I do think it could be maybe a good season for West Brom. So yeah, let's put them into playoffs. Reading are up next. Now, Reading, I don't really know where to put Reading because, they ultimately survived last season. They obviously finished the season in terms of relegation performance. They finished the season quite strong. It'd be interesting to obviously see what the management team do there, now having obviously a full pre-season, etc. But the league has got better. I don't know if they'll stay in there, but I'm just going to put Reading. I don't see them doing anything amazing this season. I think I'm going to put them in a relegation battle. Luton Town now, and Luton Town obviously had massive success last season, especially for the club of their size. And there was a bit of a dream, wasn't there, that small Luton, were going to go up into the Premier League, and what a spectacle it would have been. Interestingly, they haven't really lost anyone significant yet, but at the same time, they've got a small squad. Players are getting older as well. You know, the squad is quite an old squad, which is aging. It'd be pretty heroic if they pulled off anything close to last season. I don't know with Luton. I don't know. I don't want to be too unkind. I'm going to put them there for now, that 7th to 11th spot. But to be honest, I think I'm being too kind for everyone. So this section of 7th to 11th and 12th to 16th, that's probably going to move around a bit. Coming on to Sunderland now, and Sunderland obviously, you know, finally back in the Championship. They'll be very excited about that. I don't really see much problem for Sunderland in terms of avoiding relegation. Obviously, a few signings have come in, and I wouldn't be surprised if a few more are made. I think primarily, though, if you're a Sunderland fan, you've just got to hope that you avoid relegation this first year, haven't you? I think Sunderland have got a really good team, but you've got to bear in mind it was the playoffs that Sunderland came up through. But you've also got to bear in mind what actually changed there. And obviously, Alex O'Neill coming in, very, very good manager, and you expect some big things. Maybe a surprise package this season. I'm gonna move them in there, which means that I think maybe 12th to 16th. I do think they'll maybe be at the back end of that. But we'll see. This is this like category is definitely going to move around a bit when I start to enter a few more teams. Birmingham City up next, and now I really have to take Birmingham at face value at the time of doing the video. They've obviously brought in John Ruddy. He's a very experienced keeper, very good keeper as well. Me speaking as a Wolves fan, he'll add a lot to that squad. Obviously bringing in Sanderson on loan as well. I know he did brilliantly there last season. New ownership as well, and unfortunately I've got to base this on what I see at the moment, because they could go crazy, spend a load of money, or just really improve the squad, and I'll look a bit of an idiot with this prediction. But at the moment, I do see them still maybe in a relegation battle with the team that they've got, because they've just not got the numbers. The squad is very small, it's depleted. They will need to change that if they want anything more than a relegation battle. Middlesbrough. Now, Middlesbrough are an interesting one here. And I did say there was potentially a team that I could move down from that automatic promotion. And you know what? I'm going to make a big call. Middlesbrough, for me, I think could go up this season. And I think they will finish second. That is my prediction. I think they've done an absolutely unreal job in strengthening the team. The defence looks really, really strong, to be honest. Obviously, Lenihan coming in to partner, obviously, Fry, and if they go back five, another centre-back. That defence is looking very strong. I think they've got the goals as well. Ryan Giles being added, I mean, in pre-season, he got 3 assists just earlier on in the week. He's a really good signing. I think he'll add a lot of goals and assists, obviously getting high up the pitch on that left-hand side. I think there's a lot to be positive about if you're a Middlesbrough fan, and I do think that Middlesbrough could be promotion candidates. So I'm going to make a big call. That is my call, that Middlesbrough will go up this season, and I'm not changing that. That is locked in. Right, Swansea now, and this is an interesting one, because this is really going to throw this could throw things about a little bit, because Swansea, I expect them to do very well, to be honest. Obviously, bringing out Joe Allen, they had a strong end to the season, and of course Joel Pyro, they've managed to keep him. If he bags anything close to what he did last season, and obviously they finished last season in a much stronger position, they started to really build some momentum there. I think they were a bit struck, obviously, at the end of last season with obviously Mr. Steve Cooper leaving. Start of last season, they were a bit struck with Steve Cooper leaving. I think that impacted them a little bit. So I am going to make a call that I do think Swansea will playoffs. Sorry, Coventry. I'm moving you down, Coventry. I do apologise. I think Swansea will make the playoffs. It's going to be very close. I mean, at the end of the day, Coventry fans, I'm putting you in the mix. I'm putting you, if you're in that mix of top 6 to 7th or 11th, it could be anywhere with the Championship, couldn't it, really? And Preston, obviously, they've added Ben Woodburn. Robbie Brady has come in. I don't know with Preston. Am I expecting anything massively exciting? Not really. I think I'm going to put them in this category. I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle, but I do see. I don't really see them pushing on into that top half of the table. Wigan Athletic come up next, and I don't think Wigan will go down either. So I'm going to slot them in. I'm just going to put them in between Preston and Birmingham at the moment. Birmingham fans, I could see why maybe a little bit annoyed with the new ownership. I'm not too sure exactly how good that new ownership is going to be. Blackpool are coming up next. Now, Blackpool are an interesting one to speak about because obviously really favoured for promotion until Critchley left. And I know he had an absolutely massive impact on the club. I think he was the main reason why people were maybe suggesting they're going to do great things in this season. But I was looking at the bookies' odds. I've actually got them like one of the favourites to go down. I don't think it's going to be that bad for Blackpool. I honestly don't. I don't think they're going to be in and around the playoffs. I think obviously Appleton's come in. It'll be interesting to see how he's done. Losing Critchley was a massive thing. I think he might have been the one to really push them on next season. Such a great manager. I'm going to put them in 17th to 21st for now. Actually, am I? Yeah, I'm going to put them about there, 17th to 21st. So we've just got two more teams left now. And I'm going to go Rotherham first because I'm going to have to move things about. But I do think Rotherham, I don't really see them doing anything dramatic to stay up. Unfortunately, I do think it'll be a case of coming up and going back down. I just can't see any other option. Now, Huddersfield, they're a really interesting one to speak about because it's been a bit of a drab time for Huddersfield, literally just one game from promotion. And that's why you've really got to take your chance when it comes because the whole squad has just been butchered. Obviously, the latest two they've lost Harry Toffolo, Lewis O'Brien. They've obviously lost Corbinu, the manager, who was massively loved by all the fans. That's been a bit of a weird situation there that he's departed, especially after what he did last season, kind of taking them from what was relegation candidates up to obviously the top six and just one game away. And, if they didn't really step up, did they? I didn't think they really turned up in that playoff finals, to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed in them because they're on such a good roll. I just don't think it's going to be a great season for them. I don't. And I'm going to stick them in the 17th to 21st, I think, to be honest. I just don't think it's going to be an amazing season. And I'm going to do that for now. Birmingham, I'm sorry. I'm going to move you down into the relegation zone. And that is my confirmed predictions. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, the championship can really go... It could go anyway, can't it? I think there's going to be some in that 12th to 16th or even that 17th to 21st that are going to be surprise package and really shock people and maybe end up even in the playoffs or even end up getting promoted this season. But I think on face value, this is what I'm going to go with. And so, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Why have I massively messed up? I'm sure there'll be a lot of debate around this. So I'm interested to see what you guys say. There might be a team or two that, in all honesty, I've maybe overlooked and should be higher. So let me know in the comments. And I'll be back with my first championship predictions of the season. So come along and get involved in that. And hopefully I'll catch you on another video soon. Take care and goodbye.